Thank you, Kara. Thank you, Adalia, for that beautiful prayer. It was yummy, delicious. Good morning. I'm so honored to be speaking here at the Columbia Center for Spiritual Living. As you all know, this is my home. This is where my roots lay, deep. So welcome. So we are spiritual beings living and having a human experience. We've all heard that saying, right? And I'm so grateful for that saying, because I know for me, on my spiritual path, that has always given me permission, really, to have a human experience, whatever that was. But I always kind of looked at it as it was a separate thing. You know, that I was a reminder to me that I was not my body. I'm not just this body. I am this body, but I'm not just this body. I'm not the job that I have. I'm not the car that I drive. I'm not the house that I live in. I'm more than that. And it was a great reminder. I'm divine light. I'm divine love. And we're all here to release that onto the planet, and we know this. And we get to do it by means of our bodies, putting it into our jobs, our homes, our cars, our every activity sparkles with the illumination of the light of God. It is how heaven comes to earth, by means of all of these manifestations. I'm so infinitely grateful to be living in a manifest world, because what we get to do in the manifest world is we get to see exactly what our beliefs are, right there, with our very own eyes. The good, the bad, the ugly, irrelevant. It just is. It's present. It's there. So in our practice, in our spiritual principles, what we do is we are here to remind ourselves that we are one with God, right? We heard it already, I don't know, about a dozen times this morning. So we already know that that is so. That's what we believe, that's what we teach, that's what we live. That we are one with the infinite source of all life, that we are one with God. And so our sole purpose is to know that truth so profoundly that it lives itself through each and every single activity of our life. Doesn't matter if it's our car, doesn't matter if it's our house, doesn't matter if it's our body temple, it doesn't matter what it is. May it live it out loud and free flow. That's our job, that's what we're here to do, is to live that out. And I'm so grateful that we get to see it manifest that way. Now, if we end up looking outside of ourselves and we see manifestations or see life activities or that we don't like, then it's time to look inside and see what's going on in here. What is it that we believe or that we are causing inside of ourselves that's creating this manifestation on the outside? So when we turn inward for that inner search, we look deep within. And that's the reason for our spiritual path. What a blessing. So grateful for it. I get to be in the podium today because I have my high shoes on today. I don't know if anybody knows, but I'm 5 foot tall, and this podium is usually too big for me. So I usually stand out here, and I don't get to use any notes at all ever, which is fine. But you know, to be authentic, I really would rather use my notes. Oh. So when we're talking about manifestation, we recognize that there's a wholeness to life. We recognize that all of the physical manifest universe that is out there is also us. And it is one and the same. It is whole. There is no separation. We are mind. We are spirit. And we are body. And we can't forget that. It reminds me of when I was in school, high school, and my brother and I are only 16 months apart. And he was in the back seat of one of our friends' cars, and as while we were driving down the road, he didn't have a seatbelt on, and we got into a car accident, and his face went straight through the glass in the back seat. And he went to the hospital, and they're stitching him up, and the doctor comes in and he says, well, there's so many tiny itty-bitty shards of glass that are in his face, that most likely what's going to happen is it's going to heal over and the shards of glass will stay in his face. However, over time, these shards of glass will find their way out of the skin to be released. And it could take years. So when we talk about who and what we are, right, and We know that we have life experiences that sometimes are so jarring that we choose, or we have to, because that's where we are in consciousness right now. Sometimes we have to let it heal over and move on, leaving these shards of glass in our skin. And that's okay. But the invitation is to have the courage to take a look back and see what they are, so that we can find out what is actually operating in the unconsciousness that is causing our life activity, that is causing how our life is out picturing. So with that said, I'm here to tell you that in my life experience on the spiritual path, it is exactly like that. As consciousness starts to jar, as we say, as we are yearning to know God as ourself, right? To know thyself as God, so much that we are yearning to such a degree that it shakes up our current level of consciousness so much that shards of glass starts coming up. And we have to look at them. We have to take a look at them when we say, okay, what is this? This is a belief that I made up about myself during this life experience. So when you have a life experience and it's like, oh, all of the chaos goes on, we start to look at it and say, did I make up something about myself that wasn't true that is now acting as law in my life? It's not an easy thing to do, but it's an important thing to do. And that's why most of us that are sitting in this room chose this spiritual path. Because you know, to be on the real spiritual path is not for the faint of heart. It takes great courage to be here in this practice. Because as I'm sure you all know, that when it comes to spiritual development, it starts because there's some disharmony somewhere. Either in mind, body, or spirit. There's some kind of disharmony, and we're not happy. There's something about it that we're like, there's got to be something else. And so we start looking, and we're like, we look down this path. That doesn't seem to me, that's not me. You look down this path, you're like, that's not right either. Maybe. And then you're like, no, that is definitely not my path. No. And then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is my path. This is my path. And so you choose the Center for Spiritual Living, of course, and you strap on your backpack, and you start to, go down this path. Now, of course, you've got all that you need in your backpack, right? It's filled with all of our inspiration, and most likely all of Oprah Book Club books, right? Maybe a Julie Riesler in there or so, packed up with all these books. And now we're trudging along. We're on the path. We're like, yeah, okay, yeah, this is good. This is good. Life is good. All right. And you're walking down the path. You're walking down the path, and you're like, this is kind of long. I might need a little help. And you start looking around for a walking stick. You're like, okay, all right, here we go. It's called affirmations, right? We take this on as affirmations. This gives us support on our spiritual path. So we start using it. So now we're trudging along again. We got our backpack. We got our affirmations. We're saying them. I'm light. I'm love. I'm joy. I'm good. I'm pretty. I'm skinny. I'm rich. And we start like going down the spiritual path, and you're like, okay, wow, all right. I'm starting to notice this path is starting to get a little incline to it. Wow, this is a little bit. I might actually have to rest. I might actually have to rest here. Okay, great. You know what? I'm going to rest. Yeah, I'm feeling the urge to rest. I need to find a good space to do this. Okay, great. Oh, somebody told me the lotus is the best. Okay. All right, great. So I'm going to have a seat here. All right. Spiritual path. Close my eyes. Lotus, which I'm not doing here, y'all. So here we go. All right. So we call this meditation. This is yet another tool in our hike and our spiritual path we call meditation. This is so useful. At first we started thinking that, oh man, this rest, I'm not going to get down this spiritual path as fast as I really want to, because of course I really want to go down fast. I want to get to the end of this destination really fast, and this is going to take too long. But you do it anyway. So you sit. It's not working. It's not working. I hate this. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And then after a while, you start to notice that, something is actually happening here. I'm starting to be present in my body. It's okay that it takes a little time, Because as I start to move on my spiritual path, I'm actually more efficient than I was. I'm clearer in thought. I'm clearer, more intentional in action because of my meditation, because of my affirmation. And this spiritual path, this hike, starts to become a little bit easier with that support. So we're like, well, all right, I can handle this incline. So you keep on going, and it gets a little steeper. You're like, hello, all right, I'm going to need a little bit more support. Okay, help. Okay, great, Reverend Brian is having a foundations class. Yay, I'm on it. Affirmative prayer, yes, affirmative prayer, that's it. That's what we're going to, that's my next stage. That's great, okay, great. And so you take in affirmative prayer and we learn. We learn that affirmative prayer is our compass on this hike. So what we can do is then we can speak our word. And ooh, now we know where to go. Now we know what path to live into. So we speak our word and then we walk. Then we speak our word and then we walk. And then we speak our word and then we walk and we keep going and voila, wow, this is so cool. So here I am and you're like, wow. So you finally stop to look how far you've come. So you look out and you're like, wow, I really did do something. You now find yourself at this perspective where you're looking out and you're like, whoa, I find myself above all the drama that used to be my life. Wow. Wow, this is quite the perspective. Wow, I love this. This is freedom. This is openness. So you have a seat finally. You're like, whoa, all right, I think I got this now. Come on in. I think I got this now. All right, I'm going to have a seat. Yeah, and you start to notice, like, you know what? There's a lot of us here. And you start to look, you're like, whoa, she's here, and Adalia's here, and Kara's here, and Reverend Brian's here. Look at us. I'm home. This is awesome. I'm just going to pitch a tent. I'm going to hang out right here with my peeps. Right here. Build a bonfire. We're cooking up some s'mores. We're rocking out. Got some tunes. We're doing this. We're staying here. And this is lovely because we have all of this and we're above all of that. This is heaven here. This is fantastic. And then for some of us, it's time to grow again. Because the divine urge never stops. So here we sit. We're trying to ignore this divine urge because this is good. Couldn't possibly get any better than this. I'm finally comfortable. I finally have my life in order. This is finally good. I really don't want to go from this place at all. My peeps, this is familiar territory. And then it comes up again. You're like, what is that sound? Shut up. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to go. But there's something more to be unfolded as God, as you. So you're like, fine. You say, okay, I'm going to go. So you start to go. All right, I don't even know where I'm headed. You start to go, you start to realize that, oh man, I thought I was at the top of the mountain and I realized I'm just at a plateau. And there's so much more to go. What do I do here? So here it is, the next thing. We started out our spiritual path with courage. Now we look, there's got to be another tool because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to mount this alone. So what's going to happen here? And now thankfully, of course, we have practitioners and we have ministers to help us with that. But also, we just decide we're going to go try it anyway. We're going to try and mount this on our own, or maybe even with the help. Thankfully, we have all of our friends down at the campsite. So we can try it. But there's something in us that absolutely knows that I cannot pass go without something. So now we have enough spiritual insight to look within and say, what is it? What is it? What is it that I need for this next leg of my journey, for this next leg of self-realization? And you get it. It's acceptance. The only way that you can pass go here is to accept everything that's behind us. Accept everything that is. And now acceptance is very different than deeming something to be good or bad, to be right or wrong. It's just about accepting what is and being with it at the level of perception that we're at. Just accepting what is. So if we look at our life, when there are major life events that happen in our life, a couple of things may happen. You know, one, we can just ignore that it happened at all. Let's just pretend, because I don't know how to handle it. Maybe you didn't have the tools in your toolbox to be able to deal. So you just stepped over it and just kept moving on, like, let's just pretend that didn't happen. We're just going to move on to past. But see, unfortunately, when you get to this stage of consciousness, when you're trying to move forward from here, you can't. It won't let you. So you got to come on back and be like, okay, what is it? What is it that has gone before me that I have not accepted? So for me, as a spiritual practitioner, a lot of my work is in this realm. So when I sit with people, a lot of times, it's interesting that if they know these principles, they know that if I change my thoughts, I change my life. They work at this, and they work at this, and they do this, but if life is not changing, what is going on here? That means that these are empty words. These are just words. And we can say blue, yellow, orange, and green, and they're not going to be very effective. If I'm really trying to change my life, if I'm just shouting out colors because those are words that I heard, that's not going to work. So what's causing those words to be, and then I put on my mining hat, and we go down into the mine, and we're looking for the diamond. Now that's what I'm talking about. The diamond being the belief that is causing the thought to occur anyway. Because if we can change the belief that is causing the thought, then we have a chance. Then it's not just empty words. It's real, it's actual, and it's effective. So we can take a look and see, so this is just my representation of a life event. So for me, this is like glass. My son helped me with this. So if I were going to, so say this glass represents a life event. So say it's like a divorce, right? So it's a divorce, maybe it's a health problem, a medical problem, something that we are facing that's significant, right? It's not, this isn't something where we can say, oh, I'm a spiritual being and I'm having a human experience and have them be different. This is not different. When you've got a major life crisis on your hands, it feels like the shattering of glass. And you have an experience of being shattered. Does anyone else have had that experience in life? Yes. So we're at a choice point here. We're at a spiritual choice point. We can either look at the shards of glass all over the floor, and we can have a reaction that goes, oh my God, I didn't do that. We could do that. Or, like I see a lot, is this. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that just happened. I cannot believe that just happened. That is crazy. I can't believe this just happened. This couldn't possibly have happened. This couldn't have happened. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Whoa, this wasn't in the plan. What am I going to do now? Whoa. Oh man. Okay. You know what? If I would have just done blah, 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 this wouldn't have happened. You know what? It's him. He did it. If it weren't for him, this wouldn't have happened. I cannot believe he did that. Yeah, it was him. It was him. You know what? Because of him, I'm not going to be able to move on because of him. Shoot. And you look and you're like, oh my gosh, I still have to go to work. Shoot. I'm still going to have to take the kids to school. I have to get out of my bed. All right. I'm just not even going to deal with this at all. I'm just going to move forward. Forget it. I'm just going to move forward. Forget it. Forget it. I'm moving on. Forget him. Forget it. And you start going on. And so now you're trying to get back to this spiritual place, right? I'm trying to mount this summit. And then you're looking up, you're like, all right, man, I can't, all right, acceptance. Okay, what haven't I accepted? Okay, great. Because what happens here is that you feel like there's something missing. You don't have all your capabilities, and you know it. Something in you knows it. So you go back to retrieve it. Darn it. Fine. Fine. So we come back here. But see, now that we know who we are, we've gone through this part of the path, we know that we are an expression of God. We know that we're light. We know that we're love. And when we know ourselves as light, we illuminate unconsciousness. That's the plan. That's what we are. So with that level of awareness, we know that we're light. We can take that. So just like Reverend Brian said last week, what we're seeing with is what we see. If I am seeing with the awareness, with the absolute knowingness that I am light, then I take that light into the mind. And I can take a look at the glass, the shattering that was that life event, and I can take a look and see, oh, wow. I made up that I was stupid because of that. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, I made up that I have bad karma, and that may never change. Oh, I made up that there's got to be something wrong with me or this wouldn't have happened. Right? I made up that I deserve to be punished. And then we start to see in retrospect how these beliefs became law in our life. So with that level of awareness, what we get to do now is just clean up the rest. So we just clean the rest of it up. Absolutely. This is the place, Reverend Brian said it can be messy as hell. Absolutely. So with that being said, during this stage, it is messy. Because the reality of it is, when we're looking at these beliefs, we feel what we've done to ourselves. And with that courage and that level of accepting what is, we also accept that it has a vibration inside of our body temples because our body and God are one. So we sit here and we recognize and we know that, oh my gosh, I made up that I was stupid. And where did that come from? And that hurts. And so when my feelings are hurt, they have to be looked at. Because our feelings are just a reflection of our thought. Very similar to our physical reflection being cast on a lake. So if we're wondering what we're thinking, check in with your emotions because they're going to let you know. So when we're looking at this and we feel a level of sadness in our body temple, allow it to have some expression. It's okay. That doesn't mean that you're not spiritual. It means that we're whole. And so you can sit here and you can cry, this sucks that I'm sick, or this sucks that this happened, all of that. And let it have full expression so it no longer is trapped in this beautiful body temple that is a miracle. So that it can be the vehicle to take our spirit to the summit. Let it go. Let it be. And see with the eyes of God and let that be. Accept it for what it is. There's nothing bad or wrong, it just is. And then from here, being in this mind, having mined this a lot, then we're whole. And now we can go back over to the place of consciousness where we're like, okay, I think I got it. So now I'm armed with courage, and I'm armed with acceptance, and I can go now. I can do this. And we go to this place. We start to see, whoa, wow. There's something in me that's clean here. I can actually breathe better. There's space inside my body temple that allows me to know that I am this. I am love. I am light. I am joy. I am abundance. Now there's room in my body temple, in my mind, and in my spirit to know the truth of who I am. Because when these beliefs are dispelled from our consciousness, there is nothing left inside of us to deny the truth of who we are. Because it is those beliefs that sit there and they battle with the affirmations that we're giving ourselves. When I say I am love, that belief says, no, you're not, you're stupid. When those are looked at, shining the light, it dissipates it back into the nothingness by which it came. And it leaves only the void. It leaves only the open space so that we can know ourselves as it. Because once that's stripped off, it's like mud on a light bulb. So it's stripped off and it leaves the glory that is. There isn't anything that needs to be added to it. It just is there. It's there and it's whole. And so now, this is where we come to know that phrase, standing naked before God. Because there is nothing to be ashamed here. I've looked in the mind, and I realized that anything that was there wasn't true. And the only thing that is there now is the truth, that I am loved, that I am light, that I am a child of God. This is me. And so I can dance if I want, and I don't care if I have rhythm. Who cares? I can sing, and I can tell you right now, I can't carry a tune, but if you guys ever sit with me on this row, I'm singing my butt off, because I don't care. Because I know that I am this. I know it. And that comes from a deep level of courage and acceptance that says, you know, I'm okay. And you're okay. We're okay. Wow, what do you know? We're all okay exactly as we are without having to pretend. We can live out loud. So we go to mount this summit. And so now at this level of consciousness, there is a faith and surrender that is so profound. Because what you see here in this level of the climb is that the mountain becomes vertical. So in the vertical climb, here the altitude is so high, the clouds are so dense that you cannot see beyond your hands and feet. You have no choice but to trust God. This is full faith and surrender, fully. You just let it go. Because you can't see, but there's something in you that knows. And so you keep going. This is where that saying is, you jump and the net will appear. Now that's a scary thought, but that's the only place left. And this is that song, we have this beautiful song that we play by Ricky Byers Beckwith, if I said it correctly, Use Me. She's talking about this deep surrender, use me, and let God just take you on so that you can just do and be the hands and the feet of the infinite. Because that is what we are. And we let go. So even though we may not ever be able to see the summit, I invite you to go forth because love, unconditional love, is calling us forth so that we may know itself as it. Now this is self-realization. We are it, and it's calling our name. Go. So go forth with courage, acceptance, and faith. Namaste.